Hello there world, and welcome to the first episode of the Six Fat Show. My name is Nahmu, and I am going to be your host for this short but adventurous feature. Now, you may just be wondering, what is the Six Fat Show about? Am I just going to talk about six fat people? It's a good guess, but no. And speaking of fat, I kind of need to trim some down. COVID's not a good year for me. Six Fat is actually an acronym, and it means 6 feet away talk. As everyone knows right now, COVID is in the air and everyone is doing their best to practice social distancing and wear masks wherever they go. So MISE-TV and I are going to do this project where we are going to meet different locals in Washtenaw and Oakland County in Michigan. That's like right over here. So these people we are going to meet, these businesses we're going to find, they have stories for us on how they are coping with COVID-19. How long is this series? I don't know. We are working with quite a few people and looking for more, and we don't know how long this COVID is gonna be. And hopefully it'll end soon. And of course for this show, the crew and I are taking very seriously of our safety and our social distancing practice with each other. Which is why, of course, we're gonna bring our own mask, and also this 6-foot pole. It's pretty long. And I'm about 6'1". So this is a 6-foot pole. Sounds about right. I also just bought this at a warehouse. Nothing special. Let's go get our first story at Golden Rhino Games. So, I'm ready. Are you? What about you? I am talking to an inanimate object. Yeah, I'm going crazy. All right, let's go. Alright everyone, we're here at Golden Rhino Games, here for the first story of the Six Fat Show. And here we are at a beautiful tabletop hobby miniature store right off the Whitaker Road. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's
okay,
good.
Cool. Okay, alright, but here I am with Ian Pitala.
That's all right. Good enough. I love it. Keep going.
No, I want to say this like, just right. I'm here with Ian Pitala, who is the owner of Golden Rhino Games.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you having me here.
So, the thing is, while we're having this interview, we are still practicing social distance. As you can see, I still, like I said from the intro, a 6-foot pole. As you can see, we're kind of 6 foot away, right?
Yeah.
That sounds right. Okay, so Ian, how did you start your business? Like, where was your first step?
Oh, that's a hard one to start. My first step, honestly, happened about 10 years ago. And that was me being introduced and really getting active in the community for Games Workshop and Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Age of Sigmar products. It's a tabletop hobby miniature where you get to build and paint the different models and play games that go along with them. And the thing that I always found fun and exciting wasn't always easily accessible for me and my friends. And so as a young kid in high school starting out, I always thought it would be super cool to one day own my own store, where you could do that. You can come in and play those games. Never did I realize that I was actually already starting the career then and working towards that. So if I had to pick a day, yeah, it's probably that. It might have been a Wednesday, but
And I can see that you have you made these kind of like miniatures.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, this looks awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. The idea is that you get to build them and paint them yourself so you can have your own designs. As you can see with the ones that we have on display here, it's just simple terrain, but it gives it a very rustic and rusted feel. So it's fun, but you do it however you want.
One of the, probably your biggest challenge is overcoming the COVID-19. which is going on right now. And
yes, I would agree.
It's, like I would say, it's very hard to like even start a business during that kind of at the pandemic event. So, how did you overcome it? Like,
well, I think there's one thing you kind of need to keep in mind is that I haven't overcome it. I'm simply working with it. And that's the big difference. I don't think anybody through any business anywhere can just basically be like, I have the answer, I'm now in my own bubble doing my own thing, and I have beaten this beast, right? This invisible monster that we can't see. But what I have learned to do is I have learned to work with it and work around it. And that has been seriously one of the hardest challenges. Because here I am talking to you now in the middle of a pandemic, which, by the way, I quit my job to open my own store, and less than 2 months goes by and we get put into a lockdown. So what do you do? Like, seriously. And then the worst part about that is, I say this with like air quotes, right? It's a socially active store where I rely on my customers coming in, playing games, doing hobbies, and talking with their friends. And oh, by the way, that's what we're not allowed to do. What? Right? Like, let me say I picked the worst business type model at the worst time. And I was just like, yeah, we'll give it a shot, you know? It wasn't something that I could honestly say I planned for. I think when I really got into the mindset of planning of, hey, I'm gonna do this because I think I can do it and I think I can do it right. Not necessarily the best, not necessarily perfect, but I can do it right to my aspirations and intent, right? I never once planned that we would be stuck inside. Like, I never once planned that my video games would be something that I pick up again because I can't see my friends, right? There's like, let's be real, there was a very dark time that happened in less than a month period when we went into this pandemic, and it was awful. But what I will say is that the community that's around here and the thought that I knew I had this project in front of me that needed to be completed just to honestly make myself sane and keep me focused really pulled me through it. That was a challenge, and that was a challenge that is still going on, obviously.
One thing I would like to ask, like, how do you come up with the name, Golden Rhino?
Okay, all right. To be fair, that's a good one. When I was in early high school, a good friend of mine, Jake Miller, he actually introduced me into this lovely game we know as Warhammer 40,000. He quite literally came up to me and says, hey, I think you would like this. Here's a book, here's some models, I want you to play with me. I don't know what it is. I was collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards at the time. Like, this is so outside my realm that I don't really know what's going on. But it's cool. I've got a Warlock and some Guardian Defenders, and you get to roll dice. Sure, that sounds like a great time. What I didn't realize, though, is that it was something that was kind of new for our local community. I graduated from Milford Middle School in 2007, and when I left there, the group that I had created, we kind of all left with it, right? We graduated, we're done, but I tried to keep this group going, and it just wasn't working. So what I ended up doing was I took our club that we had started and we moved it to the local library, which was the Highland Township Public Library. Still there to this day, and thank you so much for all you librarians out there that let me do that, because we were there for 10 years. Every month we got either a Monday or a Tuesday where we got to rent out their big room, actually about the size that we're in now, and we got to meet up and build and play models and all that fun stuff. What I didn't realize, though, is that it was not just about me and my friends. It ended up becoming a community staple. And one day I decided that I was gonna throw a tournament, right? That's gonna be fun. Everybody brings so many points. We're gonna play Warhammer 40,000 and do a tournament. And it was cool. I think we had 10 people say they were gonna show up, and I think 8 actually did. And it was a lot of fun. And I remember one of my friends saying, hey, this is a lot of fun. What do I tell my friends? And I'm sitting there building a Rhino, which is a armored APC carrier for the Space Marines at the time. And I'm like, I didn't think of a name. Like, what do you call an event that you just told your friends, hey, let's get together and play like a tournament style, right? And so I'm like, it's the, I pick up my Balthazar Gold, and then I pick up the Rhino, and I'm like, it's the Golden Rhino Tournament. And they're like, okay, I'll tell my friends. So, hey. Oh, okay.
That's Jonathan, everybody.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Employee of the month there.
Really cool to see how everything is based on how you grew up, not only with your own hand, but together with the community.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone said, you can't do things alone.
Oh,
That itself is like the process that you see right here is when you just making these like all these like, you know, the store with the miniatures, with, you know, just games, and also, you know, just giving them a space to play. And honestly, I wouldn't think that there's no other retail store that would actually do something like this.
Oh,
And
well,
that is,
thank you.
That is very commendable. This is something that I would hoping people would see. Like, just because there's a COVID out there, there's still things that you can do.
Yeah.
Opening a shop.
By the way, I don't recommend doing it. Not a good idea.
We have, you know, heard what you have done. Maybe you can just like show us around what your store looks like, and then you can just what kind of wares you have and what kind of like space you can like share with the people that wants to play here. Shall we go?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on, I'll show you around. Yeah.
All right, as you can see, while we're still doing this tour, we have to consider social distancing. For example, we still have our mask on. Please do wear so, because, you know, we don't want anybody else to catch. And I also have here still my 6-foot pole. Why? I don't know. I just feel like Gandalf. What's the first thing you can show us around here?
Well, okay, so where we're at right now is actually part of the gaming area. We've got it into 2 parts right now, so 4 tables in total, which you can see we've got set up so that we can do some hobbying safely. We can do a maximum of 3 people per table right now. So we've got the clear plexiglass dividers as well as mats and cups that all get disinfected throughout the day. But the interesting thing is that not only do we do hobbying on these tables, we've got game tables that obviously you saw from our interview, but these tables themselves, or at least for the most part, you can see, are actually made from recovered Michigan walnut wood, actually. And so you can see that it has the cathedral-like cuts into it. And what I had to do was I had to cut these to size, shape them, mill them, and then sand and stain them, and then seal them. So I got to work and literally teach myself how to, you know, cut wood and woodworking to make these tables. And so these days here, if you want to see, you can see that these are just 3 of some of the many, many people that donated money. And I've been painstakingly engraving them by hand. So we've got like Austin Forbes, Jimmy Hart, Sean Bergen, we've got Ryan Castle, we've got Ken Sawyer and Kyle Foster. All of them are very good friends of mine, but also great supporters of the store, and I really cannot thank you enough. And there are a lot of names to go along with that. Even teams that would play Warhammer and Age of Sigmar and things like that for different events, they've actually banded together. So Team Bad Decisions, they helped out, and then Vodka for the Vodka God. In this room right now, you'll notice that we have the 4 tables and we have them marked off, and that is really for safety for COVID. Because in the end, my hope and my goal is that we'll have 6 tables total. So 3 that run in a vertical line here and 3 that will run in a vertical line there. So that we can really maximize on the different customers and get as many people in here having fun and enjoying it all at the same time. So this is just a small portion so far of our gaming and hobby area.
I just love this one right there.
Yeah,
It's pretty much a Death Star. This is where the, like a ethereal being coming out?
Yeah. So that is a numinous oculum, actually, part of the Age of Sigmar universe. And that is where you would house some of your wizards to chant spells and enchant them and make them more powerful. Good news is you can make your spells more powerful. Bad news is that the building is made from living souls and spells, and so they can lash out and attack you at the same time. So it's a risk-reward kind of a thing. It's super cool.
So it's a Death Star. Dead people.
However you want to look at it, man, it's your universe too. That's the thing I love about it.
I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror.
We've got a lot of models in our display cabinet that I can kind of show off. These are actually our models from our bi-monthly painting contest. So every 2 months we do a different contest with a different theme in mind. And the community, the people that help me get this store going and running, right, they actually get to submit their different painting entries. If you turn around, you can see that there's a ton of different supplies and hobby materials and games. And for instance, we've got Monster Apocalypse here. My newest favorite line of paints, the Turbo Dorks. They're all color shifting metallics and high vibrant metallics, which are great. So we've introduced this new to the store actually within just the last couple of months. So we have a variety of different board games, role-playing RPGs, and other tabletop hobby miniatures. So starting from the bottom, you've got a lot of the Games Workshop specialist games. So these are really cool. They can be fun skirmish games or aerial battles or Titanic battles, all on a smaller scale. As we work our way up, we obviously have different board games like Small World and Cosmic Encounters, and different RPGs like The Legend of the Five Rings. We just got the newest Alien, but of course, your classics, D&D, Shadowrun, Pathfinder, and Starfinder. So lots and lots to choose from. So if you're not into necessarily the building and painting of models, you've got some other outlet that you can come and enjoy here at the store. We also have things like ChessX dice and different D&D dice, more Warhammer supplies and different models and things like that here, but we also have different glues and hobby materials and things like that. One thing I would like to point out on special, thanks to our bi-monthly painting contest, Jimmy Creature Studios, actually a good friend of mine, he created a new product line that he did by himself, his Hobby Sand and Hobby Slate, that he's used different materials that you actually get to use for the basing materials. So all of the models that we had in the bi-monthly painting contest actually used his materials in order as part of the challenge. Of course, we have obviously the different model kits, and the thing that really kind of started it all for me, which was Games Workshop. And so we have this whole corner kind of dedicated to that with Warhammer Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40,000 products that wrap all the way around and meet back around over on this end here. We've even got some really cool exclusive miniatures like our Artel W collection. So these, Artel W is a fantastic miniature company actually out of the European Union. And they make some really, really cool resin third-party style miniatures for different things. You can use them for adventurers in your Dungeons and Dragons type campaigns. You can also use them as substitutes for models in Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar. We do a Secret Santa gift exchange, and we're actually doing signups for that right now. And to keep things smart and to keep things safe, we are still offering curbside pickup. So if you want to partake in the Secret Santa gift exchange, but you don't want to come in, I'm 100% behind that. Stay home, stay safe, right? But if you want to participate in that, I'm going to make sure that you're able to. And the other thing too is that when we do our gift exchange like this, there's a $35 minimum. That's really all you need to buy. It's a couple of models, maybe some paints and a figure case, something like that. But the sky's the limit. But this year I'm going out of my way. If you want to participate and you've been affected by COVID-19 and you don't have a job or you just don't have the income like you used to, I'm willing to match it and make sure that you can spend at least the $35 in the store. So that way everybody gets to participate.
So basically, he's a Warhammer Santa.
I guess I do have one last thing I would like to say.
Okay.
So while all of this is going on, while I have this awesome game store and this great space to play and hang out and stuff, right? The number one thing here for us, for me especially, is safety. The reason that COVID has been a challenge that you work with and not against is what really been able to lead me keep the doors open and have people come in. So for the safety of everybody that shops here, we have hand sanitizer both at the door and at the front door as well as the front counter. Anytime someone comes in to play a game with their friends, it doesn't matter if they live with them or otherwise, I ask everybody to wash their hands before and after the games. And the really big thing too is that I went out of my way and I got a fogger that I can actually atomize a chemical and I can sterilize all of the product at the end of the night. So that my customers, when they come in, they feel safe knowing they can pick up a product, look at it, and they have some kind of hand sanitizer, right? And of course, obviously, wear your face mask. So be COVID smart, be COVID safe, but become friendly and be here and enjoy the environment.
Smart, stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
What was the last one?
And be friendly.
Be friendly.
There you go.
You know what? I think I just use that as my, closing.
Absolutely, man.
Smart, be safe,
And be friendly.
and be friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you again just watching this episode, the first episode of the Sex Fat Show. There's a lot more coming on, but definitely thank you for Ian to show around the Golden Rhino games.
Mm-hmm.
We had that ending statement. What was it? Be smart.
Be smart, be
safe,
and be friendly.
And be friendly. Be smart, be safe, and be friendly. And I keep talking and my mask keeps falling down. But again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.